Before we begin, please be reminded with the following house rules. Kindly turn off your video and put yourself on mute upon entry. For any technical concerns, kindly send a private message to UP Cape's operations on Zoom. For questions throughout the discussion, you may privately message Andrew Antonio on Zoom or comment in our FB Live.
Since we have already run through the house rules, let us now proceed with our event. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Christian Balinsat.
And I am Jules Palada from the UP Career Assistance Program for Engineering Students.
And we would like to formally welcome everyone to our culminating event, Building Your Base with UP Capes.
Here we will cap off CAPES Week with a talk showing the importance of early career planning to the students by introducing the key message of UP CAPES campaign for the year, #Build Your Base.
Today, we will be joined by two speakers who will be sharing with us their career building experiences and how UP Capes was part of that journey.
If you have any questions or concerns, kindly send a private message to Q&A moderator Andrew Antonio in the Zoom chat or drop a comment in our Facebook Live. And for this event, we will be giving away 250 pesos to 2 lucky winners through GCash. In order to win, you must first have answered the RSVP form, second, be present before the end of the 10-minute grace period, and third, be present at the end of the event. But don't worry, because just by answering the RSVP form and attending this talk, you are also entitled to 1 raffle entry for our grand raffle.
Wow, isn't that amazing? Now that we have that out of the way, let's introduce our first speaker for today. He is a magna cum laude graduate of BS Civil Engineering, a recipient of the Garrick Yao Memorial Award for Service, and an alumni of UP Capes. He was the Director of Collegiate Relations from 2018 to 2019, Director for External Relations from 2019 to 2020, and the Vice President for Marketing from 2020 to 2021. To add to that, he has had several work experiences such as a marketing intern at Unilever, a corporate communications intern at Philip Morris International, and is currently a digital and e-commerce graduate trainee at Colgate-Palmolive. Without further ado, let us all welcome back one of our dearest alumni, Mr. Andrew Brandon Abo Hong.
Hi everyone, can you see my screen? Okay, thank you very much, John, for the warm introduction. Really glad to be back here again with Isko and Iska and with my fellow engineering community. But to be very honest, it's quite a surreal feeling because just a year ago, I was like you guys, sitting on the other side of the screen, listening to other professionals talking about how they navigated their careers. But I'm here right now, and I'm really excited to share the career journey that I had leading to this day, and more importantly, what I discovered about myself in the process. So without further ado, let us go to the next slide. I'll be talking about a few things. Since career planning is a long process, so I figured that the best way to approach this is to show you my thought process, starting from when I was applying for UPCAT to my college days up until where I am now. I will end this talk with some pieces of advice and answer some of the questions that you might have. So I graduated last July with a degree of civil engineering, as mentioned, but as people who know me, they would know that I'm actually a BS org, minor in civil engineering. I've been part of several engineering orgs such as CAPES, iClub, and Aggregates, and I also had several internships in marketing. These experiences, I'm really grateful for them because they shaped me to who I am today. I am currently a graduate trainee at Colgate-Palmolive, where I am leading step-up projects on digital marketing and e-commerce. On weekends, I volunteer at education nonprofits, Kada Career and MarkProf, where we help underprivileged students all over the country. But I would say the journey to where I am now, the rightmost column, wasn't as clear-cut 6 years ago. So I want to take you first through like who I was 6 years ago and what was going through my mind when I was applying for UPCAT. My college admissions journey. So, what I knew back then are three things. I love math, especially geometry. I like the idea of creating something tangible, such as buildings. And I dreamt of doing spectacular things, like building an eighth wonder of the world. I was very ambitious back then. So I thought with these three things, probably I'm more sure than most of my peers. Anymore. Just went ahead and applied for the universities. I applied for three universities because these are the only schools in the big four that offer civil engineering and industrial engineering. So these two are my first and second choices respectively. And considering that UP is the top university in the country, I said yes to become a UP Maroon when I got the acceptance letter from OUR. So that is how I chose my course and what my thought process was. But you would see in the next few slides how I was able to change my mindset and further discover what I truly like. And this is um and this was made possible due to my career experiments. When I was in my early college years, people instantly recognized me as the Bibo kid, especially in out of classroom activities like in internships and orgs and whatever. I tried a lot of extracurriculars back then without thinking the benefit they would bring to me. And it is only now when I am looking back that I realized these experiments actually shaped who I am today. Um, I wanna show you guys what I did in college so that I can inspire you to do the same experiments or to just discover the world around you. I'm going to divide my experiments into three levels. These are low, medium, and high resolution experiments. Low resolution means they are easy to do, but they're not really the perfect representation of the reality. Medium resolution, they require some effort, but not really as experiential. While high resolution, these are full in-depth experiences, but they take time and energy. So for my low resolution ones, these are my college org experiences, and also my time browsing through the internet on Google, Reddit, or LinkedIn. In my college orgs, this is my first stepping stone where I learned how to do sponsorship marketing, how to do market research, and how to make marketing campaigns and so on and so forth. Thanks to my organizations, CAPES, ADCOR, and UP Aggregates. These are the things that you can easily do. There's there are just there's a minimal barrier to entry doing this. So I encourage everyone to also try it out and to figure out like what you initially don't want to do so that it will be easier later on. Medium resolution experiments that I did, competitions, boot camps, and also the many coffee chats or one-on-one chats with my friends and alumni and org alumni. So these are really helpful for me because it gave me a glimpse of what it is like working in a particular industry or working in a particular job without really diving deep into the actual details and um, actual work. I also had some high resolution experiments like the real internships um, across different industries and also in different functions, as well as an exchange program in South Korea where I took some of the prerequisites of civil engineering. And so these all are not like just to show off and to just brag, but rather to show you what you can do to further solidify like your perception of what you can do in the future. Because these experiments really sort of let you know what you will like and what you will not like. And so it's really helpful. So after doing these experiments, here are some of my realizations. I'm gonna talk about this in this format. I thought and then, but I realized. So in the left column, it's all about my previous misconceptions and also my previous thoughts. And then the right column is about what I am thinking right now. I thought back then I love math, especially geometry. While it is still true up to this day, more specifically, I realized that I like using data to back my claims and make decisions. Back then, I thought that I liked the idea of creating something tangible, specifically buildings. I was that specific. But I realized that I simply wanted to work on impactful projects, something that can make a difference to the world. Back then, I thought that I want to do spectacular things like building an eighth wonder of the world. But I realized that I just want to do something challenging so that it could stretch me and make me grow. After also doing the college experiences that I mentioned, I realized two extra things. After taking the marketing internships that I mentioned, I realized that I want a dynamic job, not a routinary one, something that forces me to be on my toes, and something that doesn't have the same work processes day to day. I also want to have an option for an international career after going through my Korean exchange program because I love engaging in diverse conversations and listen to the different perspectives of people all over the world. But of course, these reflections are unique to me. So I want you to find a set of reflections that is true to you. And these are the things that would help shape who you are now and shape your future as a budding professional. I strongly recommend that you do the experiments, and I'm actually going to share with you in the following slide how you can do it. What you may start doing. So I'm going to divide this into three buckets. First is exposure. Of course, if you want to try something new, you have to intentionally expose yourself to things that you might like. Parang it's not about exposing yourself to everything, but also being strategic to what you want to experience because you only have limited time and energy. And second bucket is about building your skills and network so that you can be a more marketable candidate once you start hunting for jobs. And also expanding your network helps with understanding what the real job is while you are also doing the other things that you're doing. The third bucket is about reflecting deliberately and frequently because you can't be that person who is just 24/7 doing all the experiments without processing your thoughts and without reflecting, without like listening to your heart what you really want. Because at the end of the day, it's not the experiments, the processes that matter, but more of the reflections. So you have to do that also. You have to spend time for that also. But before I go through the details, I just want to let you know that you can take it slowly. You don't have to do everything that I will say in a couple of seconds. And it's okay to fail because it's okay that you didn't get your dream internship or experience that you wanted so badly because they can simply just be redirections to something better. I myself have my own set of failures, rejections, but they taught me a lot. So for the first bucket, these are the things that you can do. But I would like to highlight the first one, which is attending CAPES events such as the talks, mixers, job fairs, and mentorship sessions. Because CAPES really caters to engineering students, and so they know what the industry trends are and how they can communicate it better to engineering students. And so I really highly recommend that you attend as many as you can so that you can learn more about them. In the second bucket, these are the things that you can also do. Attending online courses, enrolling in MOOC. You can also take leadership positions or or simply org positions to develop your soft skills, teamwork skills, people skills. And to expand your network, you can look for mentors who you look up to and cultivate the relationships so that you can also benefit in the long term. Lastly, in the last bucket, um, I would recommend that you start journaling to process your thoughts and have day-to-day conversations with someone or maybe with yourself only. Just to force yourself to reflect and to slow down and understand why you reacted a certain way towards certain things and other things. And lastly, I just want to emphasize that you have to be very honest with yourself, even if you can't with others, because the path to self discovery is to be true to yourself first. And it's really difficult to know what you want if you try to, if you don't, um, if you don't accept your previous mistakes, and if you couldn't accept your previous mistakes. So there's a lot of things that you can do, no, but it's just for you guys, it's just a matter of picking which ones really help you more, and just be deliberate with your actions so that you can get closer to what you want to do in the future. Before we close,
You only have to be right one time.
I want to
You
share
don't
with
have to
you.
figure it all out in advance.
Before we close, I want to share with you an inspirational video by Mark Cuban, a billionaire and the owner of Dallas Mavericks.
You only have to be right one time. You don't have to figure it all out in advance. You can be wrong. You could pick the wrong career. You can pick the wrong job. You can pick the wrong spouse. You can pick the wrong whatever. But you get it right one time, you're set. But if you don't try, and if you don't go out there and try all those different things, you'll never get that one time.
So yeah, you just need to be right once, and you really have to try and try until you identify what you really want. I hope you were able to get a thing or two from my talk to help you start your career discovery today. Thank you very much, and I'd be glad to answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Abo, for that very insightful and inspirational talk. It's really something that gives you something to think about, doesn't it? So now, let us proceed with our Q&A segment. Again, if you have questions to our alumni speaker, kindly send a private message to Andrew Antonio in the Zoom chat or drop a comment in our Facebook Live. So, for our first question to Mr. Albo, does having experience in short-term online jobs, like the ones in Upwork, for example, increase the chance of being accepted in a job? Or are internships better, the ones credited more when a management checks on your resume?
That's a good question. No? I don't exactly know the recruitment processes of each company, but in general, having an experience is always a plus. And but with an exception, it has to be relevant to the job or internship that you're applying for. So if the job that you're eyeing for, like let's say programming, um, and you're taking programming classes or like programming like short-term projects, then it's gonna be a plus. So you just have to know which experiences matter, which experiences are relevant, so that it could be a boost to your resume.
Thank you for that wonderful answer, Abo. For our next question, how did you juggle your academics and your career journey?
Actually, I'm the worst person to ask for that because to be honest, I'm not really also a very good manager of my time. Um, but for some reason, I think deadlines help a lot. Being scared of the deadline, I think it makes me more productive and makes me finish my work faster than what I expected. So but I heard from my friends what they usually do to manage your time. It's just having like calendar blocking, having different apps to help them to remind them of the different tasks that they should do, and prioritizing different tasks, which ones matter more, which ones to do first, etc. There are a lot of tips online also that you can check. So I think it's possible. It's possible, but you also have to listen to your body, because there will be times that it's really just too much, and you just can't take more of the things that you want to do. So just have to listen to your body and learn to say no if you really can't.
Yes, thank you for that very timely answer. I think that really helps us a lot, especially in this online setup with online classes and such. For our next question, how can I start planning my career as a second year student when companies usually want to hire students who are third year and up?
I'm not very sure with the latter part of the sentence, that companies usually hire students third year and up, because there are some companies who hire from any year level, um, and I think you can break into those first, try those internships first, to gain experience, so that by the time that you're in third, fourth, or fifth year, you have something on your belt already, and you can be perceived as a better candidate because you have more relevant experiences. But also, I would say there are a lot of things that you can do as well, like joining orgs, getting org experiences. If you can also get leadership experiences, because they show that you can handle a team, you can work in a team, and you can lead. You can also try to join competitions. There are a lot of competitions out there. Most are branded. Most are hosted by big multinational companies like P&G, Unilever, etc. So you can join those to get experience as well, and to get and hopefully win a prize that you can share once you go into your interviews.
Okay, thank you for that amazing answer. For our next question, do you use or apply anything civil engineering related to your current work or position?
um, a lot of people ask me that, but I would always say that civil engineering, I don't think it didn't help me at all, because up until this day, I still use Excel a lot. And it also help train my analytical mind, and how to like communicate my reasons, how to present data, and how to justify my conclusions based on data. So all of those are what I picked up from my civil engineering degree. And so I think, regardless of experience, regardless if it's your college degree or an internship or whatever, there's I believe that there's always something you can extract, or you can get out of that experience, and you just have to be positive and intentional with what you want to get out of it.
Okay. So for the next question, I think it is something a lot of us really want to know. How do you stay consistent with journaling, especially when it can be easy to forget about? In addition, would you have any tips or prompts with journaling?
Before, I also used Notion, and one thing that's good about it is you can create templates, like predetermined questions. For example, what made you happy today? What are you grateful for today, etc. So that will make it easier for you. But journaling isn't the only thing that you can do to reflect. No, so if you're not that type of person, you can also meditate. Like, for example, 5 minutes before sleeping, just close your eyes and just think about what happened today, and um, what you liked, what you disliked, what are your highs and lows, and so on and so forth. So that will work as well. The main objective really is to force you to think, to reflect. As long as you are able to do that, regardless of the method, that will work.
Thank you for that amazing answer once again, Sir Abo. So next, it's something I think a lot of people also want to know. Do you think internships are seen as more credible than org positions when applying for jobs?
If your internship is relevant, if your internship is relevant. So, for example, um if I got a civil engineering internship and then I applied for what's the farthest? I applied for an advertising job, like there's just really parang there's so few overlaps now. Probably what you can transfer from your civil engineering internship experience to your advertising job is just the interpersonal skills, the leadership skills, people skills, but not really the technical ones. So if you are happy with that, then go ahead. But of course, you would want to make the most out of your time. So try to get the most relevant ones to apply to your job. And also going back to your question, is internship better than org experiences? I would say yes, most of the time. Most of the time, because internships are real world experiences. While org experiences, while they are also good in a way that you are forced to lead people. You are forced to lead volunteers who are not really paid to do what they're doing. It also helps you build the soft skills. So internships have a slight edge, in my opinion. But I would not recommend people to be in a position that you have to choose one over the other because both give you distinct advantages as well.
Thank you for that insightful answer, Sir Abo. Next question is, when did you realize you wanted a different career path?
That was during my fourth year in my 5-year course. When I was doing the extra things like in the orgs and whatever, I was just doing those for fun, really. But I realized that I had fun doing those, and so I just gave it a shot. And as I got more and more experiments and also experiences, it became more apparent to me that I wanted to shift careers.
Thank you for that marvelous answer. Our next question is something around related to career planning. So, how can I start planning my career if I am still unsure of what I want my future career to be?
You can try the low resolution experiments that I mentioned. So if you're not yet part of any org, you can start first with researching online and try to just try to know what's the most popular ones, and also try to look also for the things that your friends are doing, what the upperclassmen are doing. If you also have time and also have and if you know someone, you can also talk to them, like people who are already working or people who are 1 to 2 years older than you are, so that you can gain more insight and use that as a foundation before you start uh, projects or internships or experiences that need more commitment.
That answer was a great answer. Thank you so much. And finally, for our last question, how were you able to get in a business related internship despite being a civil engineering major?
Okay. Um, I think that is also makes orgs an advantage, because it's easier to get those first. Like you just have to apply for a particular position in your org, and then if you're lucky, then you'll get it. There's a lower barrier to entry, and so once you get those org experiences that are relevant to the internship that you're looking for, they will be a boost to your resume. So that is the reason, I think, why I got my first internship. It was in Encompass under the corporate communications department, because I had prior marketing experiences in two of my orgs. Um, but to be honest, it's also about continuously building on my current experiences, and just parang because also of my Encompass experience, it also got me to more opportunities later on. And so I think that was the reason why. Um, to add to that, I think during interviews, of course, that will be a red flag for the interviewer, because not necessarily red flag, but rather something alarming, something that catches their attention. So I was really deliberate in explaining, and I was really clear in explaining why I wanted to do marketing, because I also need to convince them that I really wanted the the thing that I'm applying for. So those two things.
Okay, thank you again for that amazing answer. Oh, before we actually move on, there's actually one more question that everyone's burning to ask you, Abo. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay, so what advice can you give to engineering students who are still interested in pursuing a career in the engineering field but possess certain skill sets that seem far from that? For example, skills like acquired through org work.
Sure. I guess in orgs, you probably won't be able to build a building, or like create a plant, or like create a software or whatever, but they are helpful to you because it shows to the interviewer that you have soft skills, you have people skills. You're not just an engineer who knows technical skills. You also know how to get along with people. So orgs are also important. But if you can apply for engineering internships, go ahead, because it also signifies that you are serious about developing yourself, and also it's a chance for you to gain experiences and probably get a return offer if they see that you are a potential employee.
Thank you so much for your insights, Abo. That really helped us a lot and really helped us visualize the future like even
Sure,
clearer
be
right
happy to be
now.
here as well.
Okay, so that ends our Q&A segment for our alumni speaker. Thank you, Abo, for sharing your knowledge and experience about building your base. We wish you all the best.
That's right.
Thank
And
you.
we hope that everyone learned more about the importance of early career planning and how UP Capes and its external events have helped Abo in his journey and can help you as well.
So we would like to remind everyone again that we will be giving away 250 pesos to two lucky winners through GCash as part of today's raffle. In order to win, you must first have answered the RSVP form. Second, be present before the end of the 10-minute grace period. And third, be present at the end of the event. But don't worry, because just by answering the RSVP form and attending this talk, you're also entitled to one raffle entry for our grand raffle. Isn't
Wow,
that
exciting.
amazing?
Oh, how I wish I can also be part of that raffle, no, Christian?
Yeah,
Okay.
same.
Anyway, moving on to the next part of our event, we will now introduce our second speaker for this evening. She is currently enrolled as a BS Industrial Engineering student in the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and is a member of the IT Data Management and Analytics team of UP Capes. She was the UP Capes Job Fair Project Manager in 2020 and the UP Capes Logistics and Operations Director for Career Networking in 2021. She has had extensive experiences in several internship positions, such as a procurement intern at Foodpanda, a Shopee Express expansion intern at Shopee, a project management intern at Thinking Machines Data Science, and is currently a business development intern at Plastic Credit Exchange. Without further ado, let us all welcome our very own Miss Nicole Ann Cola Covarrubias.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much to the hosts for the very warm welcome. So give me a moment. Let me just share my screen. All right. You guys see it? Please,
Hi,
you
yes
guys
po.
see it? All right.
Ano po?
All right. Great. All right. Thank you again so much to the hosts for the very warm welcome, as well as Abo for sharing his insights in his talk a while ago. So just a fun fact, Abo was actually like the first person who nudged me to start applying for internships when I was in my second year, and has been a big source of inspiration since then. So I'm really humbled to share this stage with him. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys about how you can build your base for your career while you're still here in college, as well as some of my own personal experiences in my career journey, which I hope you all can learn from. Okay, so just a quick introduction again. Hello, I'm Kola. I'm a fourth year BS Industrial Engineering student here in UP Diliman. So at present, I'm a business development intern at Plastic Credit Exchange, and I continue to be an active student leader in my orgs, both inside and outside of UP. So here on the slide, just a quick rundown of my present engagements in my organizations. Okay, so that's me, but I also want to know more about you guys. So I'd love to, just get a quick check-in. So the team will now be, flashing here a link to a Menti, and I have, just two quick questions that I want you guys to answer. So yeah, please hop onto the Menti. So the code is 3846 6886. So yeah, please take the time to hop onto the Menti. We just have, very two quick questions that I want you guys to answer. Okay. I'll give you guys, oh, okay. I see some people already on the Menti. So super good job. All right. So we have a lot of people in their third year. We have some from all year levels. Okay. All right. So okay, we have people from all year levels. So that's super cool. Thank you guys so much for answering this question. All right. Next question. So I want to know how much you guys agree with this statement. So next slide, please, in the Menti. Okay, let's give some time for more people to answer what year level they're in. Okay, all right, great. We have people from everywhere. Okay, we could now move on to the next slide of the Menti, please. Okay, so here I want to know where you guys stand with this statement, so I know exactly what I want to do after college. Okay, I'll give you guys a few seconds to answer this one. All right, it's moving back and forth, but we're mostly a lot of people disagree with the statement, and you know what? That's honestly, that's super fine. So yeah, thank you guys so much for answering the Menti. Yeah, we can close the Menti now, and I'll go back to sharing my screen. Okay, all right. All right. Okay. So yeah, thanks so much for doing that quick engagement with me. So I saw that a lot of people were kind of leaning towards strongly disagreeing with the statement. And like I said, that's super fine. I'd honestly say that we're more or less on the same page. I'd say that on a scale from I don't know what to do with my life and having a clear dream and direction, I'd honestly say that I'm leaning towards the former, and that's totally okay, right? So understandably in college it feels like you have to have everything figured out, right? It's like everyone around me knows what they want. They can even name the exact companies they want to work in, the department they want to join, and it's just a lot of pressure to have 100% certainty about where you're going. So that's the first early career planning myth that we're going to debunk today. I'd say it's perfectly okay to not have it all figured out at this point in your life, and I don't think anyone truly has. We often think of figuring it out as something that has a finite end, but it's actually a continuous process of self-discovery and discernment. And in fact, college is the perfect place to do all that, right? Like you have all this time and all this energy to explore, to try new things out, and to realize the different paths that you can take. All right. And the second myth that some people fall into is that they feel limited by choices that they've made before or where they currently are. But the truth is that you don't have to put yourself in a box. I've met a lot of people whose careers are a complete 180 from the course they took in college. Like I met a machine learning researcher at a consulting firm whose undergrad was biology. I also know of a journalism graduate who's now an urban transport specialist, and both of them are really excelling in their careers. And I also know of a lot of people, myself included, who only learned certain technical skills when they were already on the job. So at the end of the day, what dictates your career isn't 100% your course or what you know now. Ultimately, it's you who gets to say where you're headed, and you still have all this time to upskill and to grow. Okay, and while we're on this topic, I also want to share this comic that I found on my
Miss
Facebook.
Cola?
Ah,
Ay po,
hello.
sorry, excuse me lang po. Can we try screen sharing again? Kasi
Oh,
it
I'm
was
so
interrupted
sorry.
kanina.
Oh,
Opo.
sorry. Where did I get cut off?
Uh,
Just right
parang,
after the Mentimeter.
opo,
Oh
yung
no. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I didn't catch the Zoom message. Okay, sorry. Let me just check. Oh no, I was talking all this time without the deck.
sorry
I'm
po.
so
Ayan,
sorry. But it's
fine.
okay. It's cool.
Ayan
It's
po, thank
cool.
you.
So you
Thank you
guys see
po
my
tayo.
screen now?
Yes, pakita na po.
Okay, okay. All right. So anyway, okay, I'll go back to this. All right, thanks so much for interrupting me, letting me know. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, while we're on this topic, I also want to share this comic that I found on my Facebook feed that really struck home for me. Right, it talks about how you can really be anything you want, and you don't have to limit yourself into thinking like, oh, I'm in IE, so that means I can only work in supply chain, or I can only be this, I can only be that. Right, so you can be anything. What matters is that you're open to learning, and that the path that you're carving is solely your own. Okay, all right. And the third early career planning myth is that you'll only need to start worrying about it when you graduate. So I'd say and I'd recommend that it's good to get a head start as early as now. And you're in this talk, which is a really great first step. But you don't have to have it figured it out at this point, right? Just take your first few steps so that you can maximize this time to see what you like and build your skills along the way. All right. Okay. All right. So those are just some of the myths that I wanted to debunk from the get-go. And with all that, right, like why plan for your career early anyway? Diba? Like what good you get out of this reflection, out of this thoughtfulness? Well, first, by planning your career early, you get to know more or less the skills that you need before entering the job market. Diba? So regardless of what industry you're going to work in, whether that's FMCG, the academe, consulting, you'll need to know your basics, like how to be a good team player, how to communicate effectively, basic Excel. And by knowing these things, you can already actively seek opportunities that will equip you with these skills. And those opportunities will definitely leave you some experience under your belt. And the second advantage of planning your career early is that you'll get to receive more clarity in your direction. And this will definitely help, especially if you're like me, who's opening herself to a lot of different paths. And on a personal level, all my org work and my internships are very diverse. Like I've done external relations at my orgs. I've had internships related to logistics and procurement at e-commerce companies. I also did a project management internship at a data science consulting firm, and those things are quite far from each other, right? And I did all those simply because I wanted to see what resonated with me and what didn't. And now that I've gone through all those experiences, I have a narrower list of my interests, and my future looks incrementally clearer after every step. So planning ahead will definitely give you that kind of clarity. All right, so now let's talk about getting started. So like I said earlier, I'm a very avid explorer. So that's the first tip that I can give to you guys. And this also, to echo what Abba said earlier. So do your exploration. The beauty of college is that there's so many ways by which you can do this, right? And the first I'd say would be by being active in orgs. So there's so many orgs in UP. Org culture is so wonderful here. But join any org and guaranteed you'll be making a lot of friends and you'll be meeting mentors who will be with you as you navigate your college life. And as you guys join orgs, I highly recommend that you maximize your potential to grow. And you can do this by taking leadership positions or taking on challenging projects. And during internship interviews, at least like in my experience, my org experiences definitely came in handy, right? Like they will show the interviewer that you have a strong work ethic, you know how to lead teams, you know how to solve problems. So go join orgs and take on projects that will challenge you because you know those are things that will really add value to your resume. Right. And another way of exploring is to volunteer. So, volunteering in this pandemic has given me a lot of insight about the problems that I want to help solve through my work. So, there are a lot of good causes both inside and outside of UP that may resonate with you. So, try exploring those as well. And I've also met such amazing people by volunteering. I've come across mentors who have given me really good advice and an inside look about what it's like to work where they work, which usually range from international NGOs, the government, the research. So I'd say that volunteering is a really great avenue to see what advocacies you'd want to carry over to your work. Right. And the third way to explore is to join events and programs. So Avo mentioned earlier, there are a lot of, you know, MNCs, multinational companies who host a lot of case competitions, or sometimes student orgs also organize, you know, these small scale competitions. There are also a lot of youth programs out there that are organized by foundations or NGOs, right? So this is a good way to get a feel of the environment and the culture of the company or the group that organized it. And oftentimes, these case competitions give actual business cases that the company is trying to solve. So this will help you discover as well if this is the kind of work that you really want to do. All right. And lastly, take on internship. So, diba, just to echo also what Abo said a while ago, an internship is really the best way to get immersed in a company or in any organization. Like you get to see for yourself what a normal day at work looks like, you get to own and you get to work on actual projects. And the other is this common misconception, right? Like there was a question a while ago that you have to be in your third year and up, or that you have to be graduating to be eligible to apply for internships. You know, but in my case, I've seen companies that aren't super strict with people's year level. Some people take internships as early as their first year, which is great, right? Why not? So there's a lot of, you know, companies, startups, and NGOs that aren't super stringent with these qualifications. So you just have to be on the lookout for them. Just do your research, or you can even do, you know, cold emailing to see if they have any openings that align with what you want. And you know, where else would be the best place to look for all these opportunities other than CAPES, right? So if you guys have been following their page for a while, they post a lot of leads to compets, to internship openings, to jobs, to workshops, to company talks. So I highly recommend that you guys give their page a follow, all right, and turn on notifications for every post, because the tricky thing about these opportunities is that sometimes these are urgent postings and they close really fast. So you have to actively be on the lookout, you know, always be prepared with your updated resume so you can apply early. Okay, and the second tip that I can give you guys is to build your network as well, right? So I super agree with what Apo said a while ago. You know, setting up coffee chats, setting up one-on-ones with mentors will, you know, super help talaga. So last November, UP Capes hosted its first ever mentorship program, and I myself booked a bunch of calls with mentors from different walks of life. Right, like there were a lot of great mentors on the directory. I myself, I met a consultant from a big three consulting firm. I met an IE alum who took his master's in an Ivy League university. I met a senior manager at a big FMCG, right? And I learned so much from each and every one of them. I got to pick their brains. I learned about their application process, their work culture. And these are things that you really won't know for yourself until you actually talk to someone from that company or from that space. So that's the value that you get from networking. And honestly, sometimes you don't even have to wait for events like these to reach out to people you want to talk to. You can message someone on LinkedIn, or you could look at your org's alumni network, or if you're big into research or if you're big into the academe, there's a huge academia community on Twitter where people actively talk about their work and network with other people from the same field. So that's super cool, right? And I know it can seem intimidating at first, but it really just starts with sending over a simple message, right? And last weekend, I recently had a one-on-one with an Eng alum who's taking her master's right now abroad. It took me literally just 5 minutes of my time to type on LinkedIn, like, hey, I'm Kola. I'm a student from UPD. I saw that you were awarded this scholarship. I'd love to know more about your application process, any tips that you can share with me. And, I'd love to have a 30-minute one-on-one with you, right? And, luckily she replied, we scheduled our one-on-one, and I learned so much from her in that 30-minute call. I asked a lot of questions. She gave me a lot of tips. And even after that one-on-one, she sent me, some resources that she herself used in applying for the scholarship that I was asking about, so that was super helpful. So go and look for people who can mentor you, reach out to them, and build professional relationships, because a wide network will lead you to good opportunities. And lastly, I know, after everything that I just said, there are probably some people in the call who may feel a bit intimidated or a bit pressured. So my last takeaway for you guys is to take it one step at a time. So planning for your career doesn't happen overnight. Successful org projects don't happen overnight. Getting an internship definitely does not happen overnight, right? So you really just have to make small, consistent steps, and you'll get there eventually. So there's the famous saying that Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every hour. And that's really all that you have to do. Diba? So just one brick a day makes 7 bricks in a week. And, that's better than nothing at all. So take your time, do your reflection, and join extracurriculars that you're interested in or that align with what you want. And everything else will follow. So yeah, that's it from me. I wish you guys the very best in planning for your careers, and thank you so much for listening in. So yeah, and if anyone wants to reach out or to have a one-on-one, just message me on LinkedIn, or you could email me as well.
Wow, thank you so much, Kola, for that very insightful and value-adding talk, especially for our participants who are engineering students as well. So I really like what Miss Kola said about really just exploring and building your network while in college, and we can really do this through orgs. Diba? The org culture in UP and even beyond UP is very rich, and we have to maximize this opportunity for us to explore and build our network. And of course, as much as this sounds intimidating to us, maybe, Miss Cola also reminded us to take things one step at a time. So, kaya natin yan, guys. We have a lot of years ahead of us to do these. So, again, once again, thank you so much, Cola, for your insights and for sharing your knowledge with us. So, as an engineering student myself, this talk really sparked a lot of questions in my mind, and I'm pretty sure so for our participants. And with this, let us proceed to our Q&A segment. Again, guys, if you have any questions for our member speaker, kindly send a private message to Andrew Antonio in the Zoom chat or drop a comment in our Facebook Live. So I think we can proceed with our first question. Now, for our question number one, how do you find the opportunities, especially for internships and volunteering? Do you seek them out, or do you often just come across them?
Yeah, actually, I just come across them. There are these Facebook groups. I don't know if you guys are part of it, but there's a Facebook group called UP Jobs and Internships, or you can even join groups from other universities. Like sometimes they won't even check. But yeah, and I just turn on notifications for those groups, and if I see an opening that I like, then I'll send over an application for that. And also yeah, so that's for the internships. And as for volunteer opportunities, it just happens that I have a lot of friends who are really into volunteering as well. So if whenever they want to make hatak, I just say, oh yeah, I'm game for this. You know what can I help with, right? So yeah, it helps to have that kind of network, and do your research online. There's a lot of groups out there where you could find all these opportunities.
Thank you so much for this, Kola. No, and guys, open your Facebook na and look for groups. There are a lot there now for us, and we cater to different job opportunities and skill sets. So, for our next question, how did you balance your responsibilities given that you also have org works, ACADS, and internships?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, right? And like no, like really honestly, it's really challenging. Sometimes your headspace can get cloudy, so it's really about knowing what to prioritize and also setting your boundaries, right? Like if whenever I need to take a break, I definitely I say that to the people I'm working with, and they'll understand, and that helps me strike a good balance among like all my commitments, right? Because you can't deliver if you're feeling overwhelmed or if you're burnt out. So, set your boundaries and know what to prioritize so that you can tend to all your commitments that matter to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for this answer po. So, ayan guys, prioritize and set boundaries. Now, for our third question po, what sparked your drive to seek career opportunities early on in your college life?
Mm, yeah, actually, honestly, I'm really inspired by all my org mates when I was my fresh year, when I was a sophomore, because I was surrounded by people who were also very career driven. I was surrounded by friends who were like BS org, so that inspired me, and I said, oh, I want to take a part in that as well. So I think it's also a good way of saying that you surround yourself with good influences, surround yourself with people who push you to be better, because inspiration will definitely come in handy to push you into starting new things, and trying new things out.
Thank you for this answer po. And it's nice din po, no? Kasi once you have friends who are really into the org culture, they can actually also help you build your network, no? And they can actually be your network mismo. No, ayan. So, thank you once again for that answer po. Moving on to our fourth question. As someone who doesn't have an organization and also an introvert, how can I start my early career planning?
Oh, okay. Um, First of all, it's okay if you're an introvert. I'm also an introvert myself, and it takes a lot of social battery, a lot of social energy, to join orgs, to do career planning, right? So, I think the very first thing that you could do is to, like I said earlier, diba, like talk to friends, right? If you're an introvert, you could talk to like just one or two friends that you feel comfortable talking to with, and then you try to see what you can join them in. If you're super shy, right, like maybe they could lead you to opportunities, and you can even take on those opportunities together. So it's totally okay if you're shy, or if your social battery is running a bit lower than everyone else. Just seek first a network that that can push you to start trying out new things. And yeah, friendship will always go a long way in these scenarios.
Yeah, thank you for that answer po. So, it's not the end of the world, no, for our introverts there. And even Kuya Abot mentioned in the chat box, no, he was also an introvert. So, ayan. Moving on to our fifth question. What tips can you give students that aren't academically stellar when trying to seek opportunities?
Oh, that's okay, because I myself, I wouldn't say I'm like super academically stellar. So that's why I try to learn a lot of new things as well in all the opportunities that I'm taking on, like in my orgs. I'm always open to learning new tools, to new techniques. Also in my internships as well. I'm super like always game to learn something that I'm not familiar with at all. So yeah, whenever you're trying to seek new opportunities, you look for other places where you could upskill, where you could further, hone your skills. And definitely, all these skills are transferable, right? Like I myself, I interned at like very different industries, but I was able to take my skills with me every step of the way.
Mm-mm. Thank you so much for this answer, Nicola. So, indeed, guys, diba, learning and growth does not end in the classroom. So, it's fine if you're not academically stellar, sabi nga ni Miss Cola. Now for our sixth question. Since you mentioned graduate studies, what are your thoughts on getting a master's degree before or after applying a job? Can this help in getting a better career?
Oh, well, I'm also in my undergrad, so I don't think I'm the best person to answer this question. But I have been having a lot of ones with graduate students lately. It really depends, I guess, on the field, right? Some science students, they like to do it right after college because that's really the career that they're headed. And I believe some master's programs require a bit of work experience, right? So you really do have to work first before getting a master's in some scenarios, right? So it's a case to case basis, and I think it will definitely differ for everyone, especially if you have like a different path in mind, right? Like if you're into research, then definitely I think you'd want to take your master's right after college. But if you're taking an MBA, then maybe you'd get in some work experience first. Yeah. So and it also really helps if you talk to people who are already doing the programs that you're interested in. So yeah, just search them up on LinkedIn, reach out to those people who are already in those programs that you like, and ask them about it, ask about the work experiences that you should be getting into, ask about how they applied, so that you can have a bit of guidance as you figure this master's journey out.
Mhm. Thank you for this answer, Cola. So, and guys, LinkedIn is our friend, yes, in the corporate world. and and there's no exactly one answer to this question. It really depends on what you have planned for your career. Yan. So, ayan, once again, thank you. And for our seventh question po, do you have any recommendations on how to start networking? And what kind of steps should we take in seeking out mentors and colleagues when we are unsure of the specialization we want to pursue?
Okay, well, first question, do I have any recommendations? Actually, my very first version of networking was really just asking my cousin. Now, she's my ate. And before I came into UP, I was like, ate, what should I join? And she's like, oh, you should, try to join your home or be active there, right? So you always reach out to the people who are the closest to you, right? Like if you have high school friends or close family, that can lead you to certain opportunities, then that's a good starting point. It also helps if you reach out to people in your org's alumni network. I myself, when I was in my second year, I made a lot of friends who are way older than me, and now that they're working, I get to ask them about the companies that they're working in, or about the path that they're headed. So it helps to befriend people who are older than you. Right. So yeah, and even if you're unsure, that's definitely okay. That's why I said, go do your exploration. My mentors now were actually like, they were my ates and kuyas when I was a fresher, when I was a sophomore. And so all of them are like in really different places. Some of them are in corporate, other people are getting into research, other people are getting into grad school. So it helps to have that wide range of mentors, or that wide range of kind of a network, right? So yeah, just reach out to the people that you're closest to, and eventually your network will expand, right? Like I reached out to one of my friends, and pala, they know this person, and then they connect me to that person. So that's networking, right? You just keep on meeting new people.
Yes po. Thank you for that answer po, Cola. So, and guys, we start small. We start with the people we're closest to, yun nga, and we can eventually grow our network to be ano kasi yun nga, and also for people na older than yun tama. Sorry. For our ates and kuyas, titas and titas, we can also start there, especially since they are those whom we are closest to. So, ayun, thank you so much for that answer po. For our eighth question, for people who weren't able to develop skills and orgs during college, what's your advice to them once they graduate?
Mm, People who weren't able to develop skills in orgs. Well, honestly, it's not too late, right? I believe Abo mentioned a while ago that you can take MOOCs, yung mga Coursera or mga Udemy. right? There's a lot of resources online that you can use to upskill yourself, right? Or there's also some websites that teach you how to code or that teach you how to do basic data analysis, basic data viz, right? So those are super helpful, right? If you're not super confident about your org experience and the skills that you built in your orgs while you were in college, still have some resources, and a lot of them are free. Just do your research, and you'll be led to a lot of like courses that could be very helpful.
Yeah, thank you for that answer po. So the internet once again is our friend in looking for opportunities, no? And let's proceed to our ninth question. What is your opinion on shifting courses, especially since I've spent a lot of time in my current course?
I I think Abo would be a better could give a better answer, since I remember I asked Abo some time ago if he thought about shifting to BA, right? So yeah, maybe Abo can take this one.
Um, okay. I think it depends. It depends. Like, um, there are many considerations to think about. But in my case, why I didn't shift out, because I realized it too late. I only have 2 years left, and I also thought that maybe kaya ko siyang bawiin sa extracurriculars. Maybe once I can show that I have enough experiences, and like I am also sure of what I want to do, then maybe I can convince my employer that that they can take me in. So that's my special case. But for different people, there are different cases. So I think mag-usap tayo. Like just send me a message, and then let's see what we can do.
Ayan, thank you so much, Abo, for that answer. And I think, do you want to add anything else, Gola?
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for all these questions. Hope you guys
Ah,
learned a lot.
Yun po. So, thank you, Abo. So, and guys, if you guys need any help in deciding about shifting courses, just drop him a message daw. So, Miss Gola, we have a few more questions po. Opo, if you
Okay.
may.
Oh, sorry.
Opo.
Go ahead.
Ayan po. So, for our 10th question, what if I don't have the privilege of experimenting career paths? What aspect should I prioritize?
Mm. Oh, this is a good question. I think if you don't have, the privilege of time to, to go exploring, trying everything, I think it helps to narrow down, and to narrow down and to invest your time and at whatever capacity you have in things that are most relevant to what you think you want at this point, right? Because um exploring and experimenting definitely eats up a lot of time, right? So invest your time in just a few things that you think resonate with you at this moment.
Mm. So thank you so much for that answer, Bono. So yan, let us learn to narrow down. Ayun po. So ayan. For our 11th question, is applying for internships recommended for freshmen? If not, when do you think is the appropriate time for students to apply early?
Mm, okay. Well, right now I actually know some freshies who are already taking internships, which I think is wild. Like I don't think when I was a freshie, all I wanted to do was just study and just like join one org, right? So I think it really depends when you feel ready to apply, because like the freshies that I know, they were already like BS org back in high school, right? So they had that when they were coming into interviews and coming to applying. In my case, I started applying after my second year, and that was because I was confident enough like with all the org leadership experiences that I took on when I was a freshman, when I was a sophomore. So I think the appropriate time really it depends on you, and it depends on how much experience that you already have under your belt, and it also really depends on the kind of internships that you're applying for.
Mm. Yeah, thank you so much for that answer, Cola. So yeah, and it really depends on us guys. And man, if we start building our base, yeah, if we start building our networks already at an early age, we can already start with internships early on, even as freshmen. No, so Moving on to our 12th question. What tips can you give in cold emailing people?
Okay. Yeah, well, what I do kasi when I cold emailed like a bunch of companies was I made sure to get the right email address, right? So like if you parang you can always see it naman in their careers page on their website. So, that's the first thing to do. And the next also is I come prepared, with my updated resume, and I make sure that it's tailor fit to the position that I'm applying for, right? Like if it's a logistics related internship, then I'll cite there or I'll highlight all the lodge or org work that I've done, right? So it can be hit or miss. A lot of them don't even respond, but sometimes you get lucky, right? It really just takes that one yes and that one interview. So yeah, do try it out for yourself. Yeah, but always manage your expectations, and always you probably exhaust all the openings and the opportunities that you can find. So like cold emailing is just one of the things you can do, and there are a lot of parang direct postings that you can apply to naman. So yeah, try those out as well.
Mhm. So thank you so much for that answer, Paul. So ayan guys, it's not bawal naman to cold email. Just go ahead and try out let's try out our lucks, no? Maybe we can get a good internship or opportunity through cold emailing. And so for I think this is our last question, po. For our last question, what CAPES events do you suggest to attend? And if you do not have the privilege to attend all events, which ones do you recommend?
Mhm. Okay, so I really recommend Upskill and Launchpad. So I believe those are like newly branded events of Capes for this year, right? So those are focused on workshops. I believe there's also like some mentorship sessions in there. So there you could start networking there, right? It's as simple as booking a call, just filling up a form, and you get to book a call with a mentor. Those workshops are also super helpful, right? Like you could definitely like learn a skill or learn a thing or two from there. And there are also some resume consultations in those events, and that's super helpful. Definitely, it really helps to have that kind of feedback, especially from someone, especially like from an expert or so an HR practitioner. That feedback will be super helpful. There are also in those events also there's also interview simulations, I believe. So definitely go for those will help you be more confident when you're in a real interview. Those will help you be more confident as you encounter more and more interviews, especially if you're applying to a lot of positions, right? So yeah, Upskill and Launchpad, definitely look forward to those.
Yeah, and Upskill and Launchpad, guys. So thank you so much for these recommendations rather, Miss Cola. So, and guys, what other better way not to build our base and expand our connections, but through UP Caves? And this the organization is here to help us build our base and expand. No, so again, once again, thank you so much for answering these questions, po, and for adding so much value and knowledge to our minds as engineering undergraduates. And that ends our Q&A segment for our member speaker. Once again, thank you so much, Kola, for imparting your experience to our fellow engineering students. Yeah, so
Now that our event is coming to a close, we would like to show our appreciation to our dear speakers by presenting to them these certificates of appreciation and tokens of gratitude. So the certificate reads, the UP Career Assistance Program for Engineering Students presents this certificate of appreciation to the speakers in grateful acknowledgement of the invaluable insights and knowledge they have imparted as a guest speaker during the CAPES Week 2021. We would like to kindly ask Abo to turn on his camera for a quick photo op. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you so much, Abo.
we would also once again like to ask Kola to turn on her camera for a quick photo op. This certificate reads, the UP Career Assistance Program for Engineering Students present this certificate of appreciation to Ms. Nicole Ann A. Covarrubias in grateful acknowledgement of the invaluable insights and knowledge they have imparted as a guest speaker during the CAPES Week 2021. So ayan, picture po tayo. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Cola.
Again, thank you, Abo and Kola, for giving us your time to be here and for imparting your knowledge to the engineering community. I'm sure our participants have learned greatly from you today.
That's right. And now, guys, let us proceed with a quick picture taking with everyone naman. So kindly turn on your cameras if you can, and we'll give you a minute to prepare. Then freshen up po tayo and let's show our fresh faces here in this Zoom meeting. And I see a lot of people opening their cameras. Hi po. And so I think most of us have already our cameras open, but let's wait for a few more moments for the others to open their cameras. And guys, pakita natin ang mga visuals. Christian?
Okay, so now that most of our participants seem to be ready, we'll start taking the photo now. So there are 6 pages, so we'll have to ask everyone to smile for a while, okay? So 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the second page. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, so let's go on to the third page. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, for the fourth page. 1, 2, 3, smile. And the fifth page. 1, 2, 3, smile. Finally, the sixth page. 1, 2, 3, smile.
Yay! Okay, thank you so much to our Zoom photographer no, here in this meeting. Sakit sa ano. Anyway, yeah, and so thank you so much, guys, for participating in this photo op. We have sent the link for the evaluation form in our Zoom chat box. And please answer this eval form. This would take a really short amount of time lang.
And now, for the big
And
moment that some of us have been waiting for. Before we end our program, we would like to announce the winners of the raffle for building your base with UP Capes. Are you guys excited? Because I sure am. What about you, Jules?
Ano, if I know na I have a chance to win, no, I'd also be excited. But I guess we have no chances ata. It's only for our participants. But still, I am very excited for our winners. So sino nga ba to, no?
Well, we won't keep you waiting for any longer. The first winner of the raffle is, drum roll please.
Drum roll please. And sino, ayan, Kimberly Sibal.
So if you're here, Kimberly Sibal, please acknowledge your seat and say hi to everyone.
Hello,
Kimberly Sibal,
Miss Kimberly Sibal.
going once, going twice.
Hello. Hello.
Oh,
Wow.
there we have it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Miss Kimberly Sibal.
Sorry.
Congratulations, but you won 250 pesos of GCash.
Thank
And
you.
yes. So for our next winner, drum roll please.
Tugu, 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 tugu.
We have
We have Jalen Sombilio. Congratulations.
Nanalo ako.
yeah, nice. Hi po. Hi,
Hello
Jalen.
po, thank you.
Congratulations.
You won
po.
250 pesos.
Yeah, so for our winners tonight, please await a message from our team for further details on how to claim your prize. Yeah, so congratulations once again to Kimberly and Jalen. And that ends our Capes Week 2021. Grabe. So Once again, we will be sending an evaluation form through your emails, and we ask that everyone answer it so that we can further improve our event. And we hope that our week long event has helped you understand more about early career planning. We can't wait to see you build your bases and level up with us through our next event. So stay tuned and see you all at our next event, Career Series, this coming November 6 to 18.
Thank you so much again for participating in this year's CAPES Week. Stay safe and see you soon. You may now drop the call. Bye.
Bye! Happy dinner! And please don't forget to answer our eval forms. Yan po.